Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, was directed by J.J. Abrams, not Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, who directed The Force Awakens. And this is the continuation of The Last Jedi. This is the finale of the Skywalker saga. This is the finale of the sequel trilogy. This is the end of the trilogy. You know, there's the prequels, there's the originals, and now here's the sequels. The story is telling of Kylo Ren, who is now Supreme Leader Kylo Ren after the end of The Last Jedi. He's looking for something because there is a call that's been made out and he wants to know what it is. While all the while, Rey, Finn, Poe, General Leia, they're trying to figure out if this message being sent out is actually true. That's all the plot details I'm going to give away. And not a spoiler, but because it's on the cover, it's in the trailers, Emperor Palpatine is back. He is the one sending out these signals. He is the one who people are wondering, oh my god, is he back? Emperor Palpatine, the most evil guy in the freaking galaxy, is he back? That's all the plot details I'm really gonna give away. But let's talk about some context with this movie, because it has been a struggling road to get to where we are. When I'm talking about the Disney movies of Star Wars, I'm gonna disregard Rogue One and Solo, just because I just want to keep the context focused on The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. So, The Force Awakens, I really loved, okay? That's all I'm gonna say about it. I know the similarities with it to the first Star Wars, which I'm just gonna call A New Hope, just for time's sake. But, you know, really good movie. Loved it. Great setup. The Last Jedi, it was troubling to get through just because of how different it was from the setup of The Force Awakens. And I was struggling to figure out whether or not I liked it or not. And in the end, just coming to realizations just a couple of days ago, I could say that I really liked it. I really like it. I don't love it, I just really like it. And going into The Rise of Skywalker, I was pretty scared because all these movie reviewers that I watch are saying, have mixed feelings about it, and it's not good. And I'm like, oh my god. So I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score. I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? Did they really manage to screw this up? You know, like, did they manage to screw up the ending, what they wanted to do? Because I think it's apparent that they didn't have a plan going into this. They didn't have this plan to set out for all these directors. They didn't to follow. You know, so it's struggling to see that. But I can say that walking out of the theater tonight, I had a blast, and I love The Rise of Skywalker. It is a very enjoyable movie. I loved it. I adore it. And I'm going to say that, you know, go check it out. It's, you know, it's good. I really like it. I went to a fan event tonight. I got a pin, I got a large popcorn, you know, and it was cool. It's nice to say that, like, I was one of the first people in Stockton to see this movie, and it's just fun. I really like this movie. I really love this movie, and I can understand why people don't like this movie. So before I get into any spoilers or anything, I'm gonna make sure there's a timestamp so people know when to jump to avoid all the spoilers to hear my final thoughts on this movie. But I'm gonna talk about some of the filmmaking aspects of it before I get into big plot details with the movie. So, just little negatives I have out of the way. The integrating of Palpatine coming back is a little shaky. It doesn't feel like it was planned from the very beginning. It doesn't feel that well earned for him just to appear, you know? But, you know, how they handled him, it's nice to see Ian McDiarmid back. It's nice to hear that original voice, you know, that I can't do it well, but it's nice to hear that. And, you know, really good. I really like how they handled him later on in the movie. Not in the beginning, because it felt a little shaky. The pacing is very fast. This is a very fast moving movie. You don't have any time to breathe at all. We're here, cut into here. Oh, we're back here. Oh, we gotta go here. We're here. You're never in a place for too long. And to some, it may seem weird. To me, it felt a little weird, but I really liked it because it doesn't have time to delve on people with the mixed feelings for The Last Jedi. It takes place sometime after The Last Jedi, and there's some character growth with some of these characters. And that's another thing I really liked. All the characters have really good chemistry with each other. Poe and Rey are always arguing. Finn and Poe, they're arguing a little bit. All these characters just seem to blend so well with each other, and great casting choices for them from The Force Awakens. They still continue that charm. I really enjoy all these characters. I really do. Even the new characters they introduced. There's Dio. He is a small little droid they find on a ship. He's really enjoyable. There's a new character named Zori who has a few scenes to shine in, and she serves a nice purpose, nice cool armor. The film just looks beautiful. It looks gorgeous. All the sets with all the CG in it, the special effects look really good too. Top notch, everything. Especially what they did with Carrie Fisher and Princess Leia, or General Leia, whatever. Because of her passing, she couldn't film any of the scenes for The Rise of Skywalker, so they used deleted scenes from her from The Force Awakens, and I'm not sure about The Last Jedi, maybe. And they were able to integrate that very well within this movie. Some scenes, it looked a little noticeable, but it really felt like she was there. It really felt like she was in the scenes. It really felt like Leia was there. And, my hat's off to those special effects guys for pulling that off so well. And whoever wrote this movie, the writers, and, for being able to find a way for her to still be here and make an impact, because she does have a good impact in this film. Another thing that really caught me off guard that was not expecting was how funny this movie is. There's some pretty good laughs in there, but C-3PO is by far the funniest character in this movie. I didn't expect there, to be some laughs, but whoa. I was like, C-3PO, he's funny. I don't remember him being this funny. I know he was funny before, but wow, he's got some pretty good jokes here. Just, good humor. The score by John Williams, this being his final score for a Star Wars film, felt really powerful in a lot of scenes. It was said that there's going to be a lot of music used from previous movies, the previous Star Wars movies in here. And, it did bring back some good nostalgia. It did bring back a lot of good feelings. And with the settings they felt appropriate with it because of everything having to come together for this big finale that is being sent off for Star Wars. That's felt really powerful. That's all I really have to say before I get into spoilers. So this is a big spoiler warning, please. If you have not seen the movie, and if you want to see the movie, and if you don't want this movie to get spoiled for you, click here. I think that's where it's going to be. Click to this, go to this time code. There'll be one in the description. I'll tell you when it's going to end. I'll tell you, just please. Because there's a lot of good stuff in here. There's a lot of good spoilers in here. Alright, Palpatine is back. Everyone's like, oh my god, what? The Resistance like, what are we gonna do? Palpatine's back and he's gonna commit this evil act called the Final Order. Kylo Ren's looking for Palpatine. He finds Palpatine, and Palpatine's all like, I've been every voice in your head. I've been Darth Vader pulling you to the dark side, and I was Snoke pulling you to the dark side. And you see this little chamber filled with water, and it has 2 Snoke bodies in it. Which makes you think, did he just have all of these bodies of Snoke in case something happened? I wish they elaborated on that a little more. It was just someone off to the side. And it just disregards Snoke from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. It disregarded him as this threat because they want to make it seem that it was Palpatine pulling the strings all along. And it was a little iffy for me at first. I was thinking, I'm not sure how to feel about that. But later on in the movie, Palpatine's presence alone is, alright, I'm the big baddie here, and it should make sense just because it was him in the original trilogy, it was him in the prequels. Why not have it be him in the sequel trilogy? And it pulled off, and it was serviceable. It served its purpose for the plot. He has this massive fleet of all these Star Destroyers with this big giant weapons, just ready to destroy planets that don't want to follow their order. And he says, "Kill Rey." Like, one of the first action scenes after Kylo Ren finds Sidious is Finn and Poe and Chewie on the Millennium Falcon. They get like a message from someone about Sidious, and they go, "Hey, there's a spy in the First Order giving you guys information. Now let's go." And you're like, who's the spy? I don't know who the spy is. And even I was like, oh my god, who's the spy? But I figured out who it was like right before it happened. We'll get to that later. And they keep jumping through hyperspace, and then it cuts into Rey and Poe arguing with each other, because he's like, "You gotta be here with us. You're our best fighter. We need you." And she goes, "I'm not ready. I gotta train." Who's training her? Leia. It's really cool just to see just Leia teaching her the ways of the Force, and she even calls Leia Master. That's really cool because she is the last Force user that can really teach her. There are no more Jedi. They're gone. Who's gonna teach her to strike Kylo Ren down? So they visit a planet so they can try to figure out Luke's journey, so he can find out where Palpatine was. We can find out this mysterious place where the Sith basically live, you know? So while there, they are stuck into a festival, and Kylo Ren and Rey have another Force connection. They're still being connected through the Force. They talk for a while, and he snatches a necklace that she had on. They scan it, and they say, "They're on this planet. All right, let's go." They have First Order troops there. They ensue on a cool little bike chase, sort of Star Wars-esque thing. And, really cool action scene. Stormtroopers are flying in the air. A lot of cool action ensues. And they find a ship that this thing was on who killed Rey's parents, basically. It's revealed that this alien killed Rey's parents and was sent out by Sidious to do so and bring back Rey to Sidious. And then they reveal that's why she's on the planet, because her parents left her behind and they wanted to seem like nobodies to her. Because that's the only way she would have been safe from Palpatine. Because Palpatine wanted her. The biggest reveal in this movie is that of where Rey actually comes from. Why does Palpatine want Rey? Because Palpatine is Rey's grandfather. Rey's parents are Palpatine's, one of them at least is Palpatine's son or daughter. And it was such a big reveal to me. But we'll get to that later when that's revealed. Cool action ensues, and while Rey discovers that Kylo Ren's there, she goes to face him. Finn tells Chewie, "Go get Rey. We gotta get out of here because the Knights of Ren are here. The First Order's here. Ren's here. We gotta go." So he gets captured by the Knights of Ren. They get captured by the First Order, and Rey tries to bring him back. She used the Force. Someone uses the Force to move a ship in the movies finally. Thank God. So she pulls the ship to him, and Kylo Ren's like, "Nope, I got it." And they're trying to pull the ship together, and something happens to Rey where lightning shoots out of her hands and blows up the ship, consequently thinking that she killed Chewbacca. And I was like, "Oh my God, Chewbacca died." And I was like, "They killed Chewbacca, oh my God." Got a little teary-eyed. I was like, "Chewbacca, he's gone. Oh my God, no." So they escape, and they're like, "Great, we destroyed the blade that had the Sith language, so we can find out where this pyramid is, so we can find Sidious." And C-3PO went all like, "Oh, I remember it, but I can't say what it is, and I can't access that file because I'm not supposed to say what it is." And it's a cool little touch because he says he's not programmed to repeat Sith language. And it goes back to thinking even during the prequels, like maybe Palpatine had this thing set up where the droids they can't speak Sith language because they figure out all about him. And I think that's a cool little detail to think about. So the gang gets together. They're like, "Okay, we gotta find this guy who can reprogram C-3PO and tell us, hey, here's the Sith language," because they all thought Chewie was dead. So they basically reprogram C-3PO, and he reverts back to him, just as a regular protocol droid. And I'm like, "Oh my God, he's basically dead." The C-3PO we know is basically dead, and he's gonna have to start over. And it's kind of funny just how he acts, just being a regular protocol droid without his personality as we know C-3PO to be. But then they realize that Chewie's not dead, and the First Order's here. So they get to a ship, one of Kylo Ren's big Star Destroyer ships, and a cool action scene ensues with Rey and Kylo Ren, because they see each other, and the Force is connecting them, and they see each other, but they don't see each other surrounding. They see them at where they're at. And the Force is dropping, because the Force is connecting them, it's transporting matter from their surroundings to each other when they interact with it. And it's really cool. I like how they played with the Force thing that they introduced from The Last Jedi. It's really cool. So Kylo Ren figures out where Rey is because they break Darth Vader's helmet, the burnt, swollen helmet. So he confronts Rey before she leaves, and he says, "I know who you are. You're the granddaughter of Palpatine." And that's the biggest reveal in this movie, really. Her parents, one of them, were Palpatine's son or daughter, and they wanted Rey to get out of there because they knew that Palpatine was after her. So this alien uses a dagger that they need to kill Rey, and they use it to kill Rey's parents. They get the dagger and they go to Endor, I believe, and they use it to find where this other pyramid sort of thing is. While they're on Endor, I believe, looking at the wrecked Death Star, trying to find parts to fix these ships to head out there, Finn meets another character named Jannah, who is just like him, as in she defected from the First Order as a stormtrooper. And there's more like her too. And it's cool to see Finn interact with somebody like that, you know, someone that he can relate to, because although him and Rey are kind of the same characters, as in they're trying to run away from the past, they become distant throughout the film because Rey's trying to fight her own battle that's a lot more deep than Finn at this point in the film. And it's nice. It's just nice to see Finn with someone else do that, and that, you know, it was really cool stuff because they interact a lot in the final act, and it's just really cool to see that. Kylo Ren and Rey have another fight on a wrecked Death Star, the second one from Return of the Jedi. While they're fighting, Leia goes, "I gotta connect to my son. This is the only way I can do it." And she basically kills herself, using all the force power she has left to connect to Kylo Ren. He drops his lightsaber. Rey picks it up and stabs him with it. I'm not sure if she stabs it with his lightsaber or her lightsaber. But then she realizes, oh my god, Leia's dead. And then he realizes, oh my god, Leia's dead. My mom's dead. And so when she takes the lightsaber out of Kylo Ren, she sees, oh my god, what did I do? So she uses her force power to heal it back up. And Rey escapes with the ship. Rey escapes with Kylo Ren's ship. She's just going to die. She goes to Ahch-To to just die because she doesn't want to confront Palpatine. She doesn't want to confront that she is a Palpatine. It's frightening to her because she doesn't want to have to be seduced by the dark side. She doesn't want to do the battle anymore. So Rey is burning the ship, Kylo Ren's ship, while she's on Ahch-To, and before she throws a lightsaber in there, something catches it, walks out, and it's Ghost Luke. He says, "That's not a way to treat a lightsaber." And it's just so surprising to see Ghost Luke. You know, you've seen Ghost Obi-Wan, you've seen Ghost Yoda, now you see Ghost Luke. And it was really cool. He tells Rey that she has to confront her fears and she has to save the galaxy. She has to strike down Palpatine because, you know, he's the bad guy. He's going to basically destroy everything because he's the bad guy. Not only is he a bad guy, but he's the big bad guy who's been there forever. So Rey has to confront her worst fears, that she is a Palpatine, she's not him, and she's going to kill him. All the while, Kylo Ren is sitting in defeat. He turns around after hearing a voice call out to him, "Hey kid," and it's Han Solo. Now this was probably one of the biggest surprises of the movie, to see Harrison Ford return as Han Solo, and he's telling him, you know, "Come home, we miss you." Kylo Ren says, "You're not real. You know, you're not here, you're just a memory." And, you know, just really powerful stuff between the two of them. Kylo Ren takes his lightsaber out, looks to Han Solo and says, "I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Will you help me?" You know, call back to The Force Awakens, Han Solo says yes, and he chucks his lightsaber out into the ocean. So that is when Kylo Ren dies, and that's when Ben is reborn. That's when Ben comes back, and it's really cool to see, because Kylo Ren is one of the most powerful characters, like emotionally, in the sequel trilogy. And to see that happen is really cool. And Kylo Ren's plan wasn't to just kill Rey, it was to kill Palpatine with Rey, and they rule through the dark side, and they rule the galaxy through the dark side. That was the entire plan for Kylo Ren all along. But now he wants to help Rey, and now he's Ben. And that was really cool to see. Back on Ahch-To, Rey is trying to find a way to, you know, get back. She sees that Kylo Ren has one of the pyramid things because he destroyed the one that Rey found on the Death Star. She sees that he has that, so Luke uses his force and to bring up the X-Wing just like how Yoda taught him. And it's really cool to see Luke do that finally. So Rey plugs it in, and they decide to, all right, let's go. She goes to Zelagar, I believe. I think that's the name of the planet, or where the Sith live. And she's transmitting it to the Resistance. The Resistance says, whoa, Rey's telling us where to go. So let's go. This is the final mission to save the entire galaxy. We got to do it. Everyone's going. And you finally see Y-Wings in the sequel trilogy. Where have the Y-Wings been? Y-Wings are so cool, you know? I think there's even an A-Wing there. That's really cool. So, the third act commences. Rey goes to face Palpatine. The Resistance goes to face the First Order's big, giant fleet of Star Destroyers with their big, gigantic weapons. They have air support, trying to support the ground team, trying to take out the satellites so they can't transmit to the other Star Destroyers where to go. And it's just a big, giant, ongoing battle. And it's really cool to see. Lots of long takes, 360 spin arounds, you know. Really cool stuff. Lots of cool action taking place. They're riding these cool horse things that look cooler than the weird things from The Last Jedi. Those look really cool, and you know, it's really good stuff. So as Rey is going to face Palpatine, he tells her that all the Sith live in me, and I want you to kill me so that all the Sith, including me, will live inside of you, and you will become Empress, and you will rule the galaxy. And Rey wants to kill Palpatine, but doesn't want to because, you know, I want to kill you because you killed my parents, but I can't because then I'll become the most evil woman in the entire world. You know, I can't do that. All the while, Kylo Ren comes back, and he ends up trying to fight the Knights of Ren, you know, the people that he defected from Luke's teachings with. So, through the Force, Rey drops a lightsaber to Kylo Ren. He's sliced and dicing up all the Knights of Ren. And Rey, she still confronting Palpatine, all the while the Resistance is doing their thing in the sky. But once Kylo Ren and Rey appear, Palpatine takes all of their Force energy out of them, and you know, he becomes reformed as Palpatine, as Darth Sidious, as we knew him from before, and he looks menacing. He shoots his lightning up in the air. It's hitting all the Resistance ships. They're being deactivated. They're blowing up, and it seems like all hope is lost until all of the fighter fleets that Lando brings with him comes together. They all come up. You know, Hope's back, and they're all fighting. Rey comes back. She's fighting Palpatine as he shoots lightning at her, and she's deflecting it with a lightsaber. She brings up the second one. She crosses it, and she's walking towards Palpatine, and all the lightning strikes off of the lightsaber onto Palpatine, disintegrating him, killing all the Sith that have ever been. They're all gone. Kylo Ren got thrown down. I forgot to mention that. He got thrown down in a crack within the floor. And Rey can do this because she was backed up by all the Force ghosts that have ever been. You hear a lot of familiar voices too. You hear Yoda, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Mace Windu. You hear Anakin. I even thought I heard Ahsoka from the Clone Wars, and that's really cool. You know, just all the Force ghosts. You know, everything in the Force saying you will always have the Force. The Force will always be with you, and that's really cool just to see her take down Palpatine like that. So the Star Destroyers are all destroyed. Lando comes in and saves Finn. Kylo Ren comes back from the depths. He goes over to Rey, and Rey is dead. You know, she used everything she had to do that. So Kylo Ren does what Rey did to him and gives all the Force energy he has to Rey. Rey wakes up, they look at each other, and they share a kiss, which was a little offsetting to me just because I was thinking, whoa, they've been trying to set up the whole Rey and Finn sort of thing. What's up with this, you know? And even at the end of the movie, they don't even like kiss or anything. They don't even share any romantic embraces with each other. But, you know, for the time being, it was fine. Just, it was, you know, it's a thing. Obviously, Kylo Ren had feelings for Rey just because of how powerful she was and how he wanted to help her. And Ben, that's, you know, he's Ben now. Kylo Ren, whatever. He falls to the floor and his body just disintegrates along with Leia's body still on the planet that they're at. And they go back to the planet where the Resistance is hiding. Everyone's celebrating. And at the end of the movie, Rey goes back to Tatooine. She buries the lightsabers of Luke and Leia. under the ground. There's no need for them. She's built her own lightsaber and it's yellow. That's cool. It's just cool to see. Someone walks by her and says, no one's been here for a long time. Who are you? She says, I'm Rey. Looks out to the distance and she sees Ghost Luke and Ghost Leia. She says, I'm Rey Skywalker. She walks out into the sunset, the binary sunset, the twin sunset. They're setting. It's her and BB-8 walking into the sunset, and the movie ends. The Skywalker saga ends. And I had a blast with this movie. I loved it. A couple things, like another negatives I want to say, since it's getting into more spoilery stuff. Like the whole trilogy too is disregarding, Anakin being the chosen one. Bringing balance to the Force. Bringing peace. So it kind of irks me that way that, Anakin's sacrifice was for nothing. Anakin's sacrifice as Darth Vader was for nothing. But still, entertaining film, entertaining trilogy. I still love Star Wars. I love this new trilogy. And, I had a blast with it. I really did. In the end, I had a blast with The Rise of Skywalker. I really love this movie. And looking at it as a trilogy, it's weird because The Force Awakens set something up. The Last Jedi doesn't want to continue with what The Force Awakens wanted to set up. And The Rise of Skywalker doesn't want to continue with what The Last Jedi wanted to continue with. And looking at it as a trilogy as to what it wanted to set up, it doesn't really seem like it's very cohesive because there were so many different plans for it. There was never an original plan, just one solid plan. There was a plan sort of that got broken up and kind of meshed together in the end. And me, honestly, I think it works. It's a satisfying ending to a satisfying trilogy that could have been better. I'm saying it could have been better, but it is what it is at the end of the day. It is a movie that I watched, that I enjoyed thoroughly, and at the end of the day, Star Wars, Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker gets an A-. Thanks for watching. I did have a blast with this movie. I did love it. I just recommend it to people. I was really worried because of what the critics and people were saying, But me, I love this movie. And I can't wait to hear what more people think about it. So comment below if you saw the movie, if you liked it or not. Subscribe if you haven't. Like this video, share it with a friend, yada yada, do all that good stuff. I'll be back with more enjoyable content and a series review of The Mandalorian once the final episode comes out. I've started watching it and I love it. So anyways, thanks. Bye.